like that.
Stop the violence. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for Reverend Jacques-Andre de Graaf. Come on now.
We are here today to honor and to remember. We're here today to take back our streets. We're here to end gun violence in New York City and beyond. One person in the U.S. is killed by a firearm every 17 minutes, and we're not going to stand for it anymore. New York City alone had 13,035 gun violence incidents in last year alone. So we're standing with the I Am Peace movement to dramatize the moment. We will not accept this anymore, and we need to send a message to Washington and beyond. So we came to Harlem, the historic home of Black America, in front of Teresa Towers, to make history together once again. 6 of the 12 deadliest mass shootings happened in the past 12 years. The band is playing Stand By Me, and the blood of those who have perished ask for us tonight to stand by them. Don't let them be forgotten. So tonight, we are opening our program. We have speakers from all over to say stop the violence and stop it now. But first, we're going to a higher power. We're going to lift our eyes and hearts to the hills from whence cometh our help. And we're going to have a moment of silence for all those who have gone as victims of gun violence. Not only the shooters, but the ones they left behind. The victims and the ones they left behind. Now, if each hand would take a hand, hold somebody's hand, and let's remember and pray for peace in silence. We're praying right now for a right now miracle. We're praying to disarm those who would do violence to their friends and neighbors, to the person that they have a beef with, to the person they lost control over, because they thought it was thug-like, man-like, cool, hip. We're saying it is not. And so, Heavenly Father, the Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we're saying enough is enough. Stop the violence and stop the violence now. We come and gather today in the village of Harlem to raise our voices, to stop the violence, to say to America, follow us. We pass the law. We send a message. And we want the torch to be lit in every heart and in every community from coast to coast. These blessings we ask in your precious name. And the community that loves God said, Amen. Said, Amen. Said, Amen. Thank you. We want to thank I Am Peace Movement, and we'll be hearing from them. Again, our young people are leading the way. We thank you, I Am Peace. in the program. No program that deals with gun violence in our community would be complete without our First Lady. Somebody had to stand up and call the rest of the community to action. And some people were afraid, and some people were too busy. But one woman who lost her 2 sons, her 17-year-old son, Anthony, and her 28-year-old son to gun violence, has paid the dues. But she didn't just sit at a pity party. She took her sorrow and her pain and turned it into action. She's a woman who has made a difference wherever she goes. She stopped the violent end. Harlem Mothers to stop another violent end. And Harlem Mothers Save. She's a recreation manager. She's a labor leader. She's a community leader. But she's been our friend. Would you say hello to the First Lady, Jackie Rowe Adams?
Put the guns down, throw the peace sign up. Come on, put the guns down, throw the peace sign up. Put the guns down, throw the peace sign up. Put the guns down, throw the peace sign up. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. I lost 2 kids to gun violence. I know the pain that the families have endured from the east side, from the west side, from Newtown to Columbine, from Harlem. We are in pain. I can't bring my kids back, but I can certainly try to help another mother save their child. We have to begin to work with Harlem Mothers Save. We got our mothers and fathers out here tonight. We have to begin to work with our elected officials and support the legislation of extensive background checks. Stop playing with our kids' lives. Stop making money off our kids' life. We have to begin to start checking on their mental illness. Micro-stamping. Please support your community. I want to thank 1199. I want to thank all the people that put this together, because community, and we don't stand up and take back our kids, mothers and fathers, take back your kids. Look under their beds. Check their book bags. This is not only a national problem, this is a local Harlem problem. Is this a Harlem problem?
Yes,
is this a Brooklyn problem?
Yes, it is.
Is this a Queens problem? So what are we going to do about it? We're going to take back our community. We're going to work with our elected officials. We're going to work with the city council to put that legislation in place. We're going to work with the Circle of Safety in Harlem Hospital. We're going to work with Christine Quinn, the speaker that put this contracts together and made sure that we have laws in place that we can support, and tell Congress, stop making money off our kids' back. Tell Congress what?
Stop making money off our kids.
Pass these legislation laws that is put forth. Curb this violence. Stop the guns coming into our city, into our state. Check I-95. Stop bringing these guns in. Thank you, mothers. Stop smoking weed with your kids.
Brothers and sisters, there's something about a mother's tears. They can't be faked. It's not for the 6 o'clock news. Jackie Rowe Adams is a genuine New York and American hero. Pay attention, New York. We're on the move now. I want a New York salute to a hero, Jackie Rowe Adams. Our next speaker is from the front line. He's not just in charge of a hospital, he's in charge of the greater hospital. Hospital Association for New York. He's been an advocate, he's been a leader for over 3 decades. They see the victims of the gun violence. They patch them up and put them out and then patch them up again. They have been on the front lines for too long, and he's here with us today. He didn't have to come out, but he wants to stand with the community to make a difference and send a message to America to stop the violence now. Would you welcome Kenneth Rasky?
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Reverend. I've marched with you, I've stand with you, and we have tackled many, many causes before. But nothing that we have done matches the challenge that we have here today. And that's to stop the violence in our communities. Stop the guns, stop the killing, and stop the bloodshed.
Stop the homeless shelters too.
We have to stand together and tell the elected officials in Washington, in Albany, that when you pass gun legislation, this is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing for the people. And we have to tell them, the governor, the legislative leaders, you did the right thing. Now we take that message to Washington for them to do the right thing as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen too much violence in our hospitals. We're tired of taking care of people that are needlessly hurt. It's time to turn this situation around. No more violence, no more guns, no más armas. I'd like to now introduce the Chief Executive Officer of Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx, the first hospital to recognize 1199 as an organized union. Steve Safier. Steve?
I'm here today to lend my support and Montefiore's support for the important work that we are pursuing here. Gun violence is a plague. It's a public health issue. It haunts our communities. It's not only responsible for the deaths of individuals, but it disrupts families and communities. It chills people's ability to get out into the community, walk around, get exercise, live in communities that are productive and multiplying in the right way. It brings the worst out of us. The nation needs to confront it. I am proud that I live in a city where the mayor and a state where the governor is taking this straight on. We're all here to support them. Now, I want to tell you that I'm sad to say that in the Bronx, we have the highest rates of homicide in this city, twice as high as New York City. That is not something I'm proud of. It's something that we need to turn around. Since 13 has begun, since this year has begun, we have seen 50 deaths in the Bronx. And again, I say to you, that is not just a tragedy for those young people or old people or people that were stricken down. It is their families that we care about. So we're here to support you and come together, and I am proud to stand with you. Thank you.
I said that we have to remember those who've gone before and stand by them. There is one who comes who has always stood by us. He stood by us with Amadou Diallo. He stood by us with so many who have looked for justice. You can see him on MSNBC, on Politics Nation. You can hear him on the radio with Real Talk from coast to coast. century, great men and women have come to this corner to stand for the rights of people. Malcolm X used to stand on this corner. Adam Clayton Powell used to stand on this corner. Martin Luther King has spoken on this corner. And many have stood on this corner. And we fought against those that were a threat to us, our rights and our freedoms. But now we stand on this corner because there are those that live with us that are harming and killing us at rates we've never seen from external enemies. There are those that are saying they have the right to bear guns over our right to live. The Second Amendment gives you a right to bear arms, but it doesn't give you the right to kill babies. It doesn't give you the right to bear any arms that you want. It doesn't give you the right to have automatic weapons that can fire and fire and fire. It doesn't give you the right to have magazines with 100 rounds or 30 rounds. It doesn't give you the right to have our grandmamas live in terror. We come tonight to say enough is enough. We are going to claim our communities back and get the guns off the streets in the United States of America. For the Congress, after Newtown, after what we've seen in Chicago, after what we have dealt with every day in Harlem, to be talking about what they can compromise. There is no compromise. There is no excuse to make sure that we have a safety zone in all of our communities. So as we stand here, many of you are the first responders. You're not the ones that the NRA lobby. You're the ones that shot children have to see in the emergency room. You're the hospital workers. You're the health workers. You're the ones that have to comfort people's grandmamas when you tell them that they didn't make it. We are here to say enough is enough as we built movements that changed segregation, that changed apartheid. We must build a movement for a gun-free society. This is not about Democrat or Republican. This is not about conservative or liberal. This is about all of us having a right to live.
We want to live in an apartment though.
Now there's some that will say, well, we've got to have some reserve here, some reserve there. There's no reserve. People are living in terror. People are afraid in their own home. Anytime you got to go home at night and lock yourself in like you are in a cell on Rikers Island, where you have a double latch on the door and a bar. That is not a civilized way that we have to live. We need to come out together. We need to stop the fear together. We need to ban guns. We need to take on the NRA. They don't have the right to give our communities this culture and this kind of siege that we live on. So let the day be a day that we commit with the groups that have been out there and that we stand with them, not for them, but for our children and our parents. Let us bury the mentality of thuggism and hoodlumism and guns. A gun doesn't make you a man, brother. A gun doesn't make you a woman, sister. Your brain, not what's in your pocket, is what's going to elevate you. And we're going to stand together. We're going to criminalize and eliminate guns in this town. Thank you and God bless you. Lion of Judah, the Reverend Al Sharpton. You see, this is not just just a local situation. National leaders are coming, and the nation is watching us here today because we're going to change the direction of America.
You don't tell me to shut up.
And in order to change the direction and send the message, we have to help them. So I need your help to send the message to America. If you take your right hand and put it at the base of your skull, press down. It's called a backbone. And we're going to need a backbone in Washington to bring about the change. What do we need? What do we need? What do we need? Tell the Senate to get her. Tell the Congress to get her. Tell the City Hall to get her. Tell America to find it. Thank you. And now we want to present another kind of freedom fighter. Someone who heard about the tragedies and decided that enough is enough. Shannon Watts is a mother of 5 who was a stay-at-home mom. She had been a communications executive. But the day after Sandy Hook, she started a Facebook page, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. And the Facebook page turned into its own movement. She wouldn't take it anymore. And so she's here with us today. Shannon Watts. Moms demand action. Moms demand action. Moms demand action. It's universal. Shannon Watts.
Hello, New York City. My name is Shannon Watts, and I am the founder of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. We are a grassroots organization formed in the wake of the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School. In just 3 months, we have over 80 chapters across the country and 80,000 members. It's hard to believe that 3 months have passed since we were all changed by the sight of 6- and 7-year-old babies being led from what should have been the safety of their elementary school. Led from innocence to an experience that will rob them of their rightful childhoods. We are a nation changed by the 26 lives lost that day. Since December 14th, 2012, the fight for common sense gun legislation has carried me across the country, and I have been humbled by the people I've met, by the moms and supporters standing up and saying enough is enough. Like me, they are accidental activists called to action by our consciences. And I have been profoundly humbled by the activists born of the tragedies of their own losses. You see, I'm here today because I'm a mother committed to keeping my child out of harm's way. But I know many of you are here because you have been touched directly by the ravages of gun violence. Too many loved ones lost. Too many lives ended too soon. Too many families clutched by the strong arm of unimaginable grief. But I know we are also here because we have seen in 3 months what an army of mothers can do. We can make our communities wake up. We can take ourselves to the offices of our legislators and demand action. We can rally in the streets of our cities and make our voices heard. We are tenacious and we will not stand down. Just 2 months ago, Moms Demand Action marched across the Brooklyn Bridge, 1,000 strong, to let America know that we are here and we are loud. Our voices and our votes will tell Congress that we will remember come election time who stands with us. Coming back to New York today makes me proud and shows me how committed we are to reducing gun violence. I love being in New York again, where amazing organizations like New York Voices Against Violence are raising awareness and humanizing this battle for safety. I love being in New York because Governor Cuomo is a trailblazer. New York is one of the states leading the nation to common sense legislation that will keep our children safer. And we hope what New York shows us is that there are those in Congress who continue to submit themselves to the strong-arm gun industry lobbyists. But we can look to our state legislators to do what's right for citizens. Across America, moms will mobilize and demand that their local and state legislators follow the example of Mayor Bloomberg, Governor Cuomo, and the New York State Legislature by swiftly enacting comprehensive, common-sense gun laws that will prevent another Sandy Hook, another Columbine, and another child caught in the line of fire in their own block. Thank you.
You know, one of the things that we have to do as we go forward to wage this battle, and it is a battle, we want to thank 1199 and the working people of New York and 32BJ for pulling this together, gathering the resources, providing the leadership. Let's hear it for 1199, 32BJ, and the men and women who work for New York. And now, it's important when you go into battle to know who's with you. That's true. So we're going to look on our left and we're going to look on our right and take the roll. Council member Melissa Mark Vivierto is here today. I see the public advocate of the city of New York, Bill de Blasio, candidate. I see Councilman Jimmy Van Bremer is still here. Yes, he is, Jimmy Van Bremer. The Manhattan Borough President, Scott Stringer, is in the house. And we're saying this because sometimes people say we only see them at election time. We want you to know that we're in a fight right now, and we see them right now. Council member Ydanis Rodriguez is here. Councilmember Jessica Lappin from the East Side is here. And one of the things we want to remember is, we want to remember people that every community doesn't look alike, but all of us are suffering together. And so we're looking for elected officials from across the city, and we're taking note of the ones who showed up today. Councilmember Inez Dickens is in the house. Councilmember Robert Jackson is he still here? Yeah. He has been here. Councilmember Robert Jackson.
Who's the other man?
Assemblyman Keith Wright, the chairman, is here. I see Minister Conrad Tillett from Brooklyn is in the house. And I want to acknowledge the presence of the President of the City Council, the Speaker of the City Council, the Honorable Christine Quinn. Is she still here? She's here. Let's get a few ground rules straight. They're here as our guests, and whether you're from Harlem or not in Harlem, we treat our guests with respect. When you want to boo them, do them at your house. But you're in our house tonight, and we're respecting all of our friends tonight. And now, we want to call the name of one who has been a champion in so many struggles, for our voting rights, for our criminal justice rights. She has stood the test of time. The President of the New York State NAACP, history's daughter, the Honorable Hazel Dukes.
I've been reading the newspapers and they've been talking about cowards. For the thousands of people here, we are not cowards.
That's right. I don't want to look bad.
And under the direction of the coalition, George Gresson, Benjamin Todd Jellis, Reverend Al Sharpton, Morrell, the civil rights leaders, we are not cowards. We've been in battle before. And we come today united again. Black and white, Jew and Gentile, Muslims from all over this city. City, Presbyterians, whatever. We come here to New York because we are not cowards. We come to send a message, just as we did against voter suppression for those men and women who sit now in the power of the legislative halls in New York State, in Congress, down in Washington. Let me tell them one thing about us. They better get ready for the real fight. We going into their old backyard, and we going to get rid of people who do not understand. We must ban this violence in this city. Our Harlem Hospital right across the corner, you should know what they receive weekly and nightly from persons not killing each other, but sometimes mistaken lives are taken. We come today to say to all the newspapers that New Yorkers are not cowards. We will see. We will fight until death kneel that we get guns off of our streets, out of our cities, and out of the hands of those who are mentally ill, those who do not respect life. So we come today as NAACPers, we come today as Americans, we come today as New Yorkers to say enough is enough, and we won't take it anymore. Thank you, George Gresson, for your leadership. Thank you for keeping us together and keeping us on the call. God bless you.
Her name is Hazel Dukes. Enough said. But many of the victims of gun violence have been young people. We need to hear from the young people in our community, and we have such a one as this. His name is Sammy Dow, and he's a community organizer. You heard about community organizers. There's one in the White House today. And he's currently the National Director of the Youth and College Division of the NAACP. And since the problem is intergenerational, we needed to hear from some people at the other end of the intergenerational. So put your hands together for a young man who makes a difference, Sammy Dow.
Good afternoon, New York. My name is Sammy Dow, and I bring you greetings from the National Office of the NAACP, where I have the honor of serving as the National Youth and College Director. In 1920, when the NAACP's headquarters was here in New York, at the height of the anti-lynching movement, every morning they would wave a flag out of the window that said a man was lynched yesterday. If we fast forward to 2013, if our offices were still here in New York, that flag every morning would read, a child was shot yesterday. Our responsibility and our commitment to making our streets safer, our communities stronger, our families stable is now more present and pressing than ever before. And so there are hundreds of young people here today, and I challenge each of you to support and empower them in this movement. Make sure that their voices are heard. Make sure that their stories are told, so that when history records what we did during this time, it'll say that we allowed our young people to lead the way and to be the change that we want to see in our communities. New York, thank you for your fight. We know that we will win this battle because we've won it before, and history and justice is on our side. Have a good afternoon, and thank you very much.
In our houses of worship, in some of our tradition, we talk about the blood. I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood that was shed for me.
I'm sure you met.
But there's too much blood that is just violently shed needlessly over and over in our communities. And other people have to clean it up and fix it up and straighten it up. One who makes a difference is here today. She's a doctor at Harlem Hospital. She could be doing anything right now, but she wanted to stand with us to speak out against the violence. Would you welcome a fourth-year resident, Dr. Vanessa Garaspe. She's one of us.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Vanessa Garaspe. I'm a physician in training in Harlem Hospital. I'm here with my union, the Committee of Interns and Residents. As physicians, our natural response when we discover the symptoms of a larger illness or injury is to act. When we see health issues, our sole focus is on helping our patients. It doesn't matter if we're talking heart disease, cancer, or even gun violence. When the Center of Disease Control and Prevention reports 73,505 injuries and 11,493 homicides from gun violence in the past year alone, the evidence is unmistakable. When the CDC further reports that among deaths caused by injury, gun violence is second only to car accidents among fatalities. The evidence is alarming. And when we realize that gun violence is most likely to strike at our most vulnerable, the evidence is now tragic. The number of children under 5 killed by guns in 2010 was more than the number of law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. Women who are victims of domestic abuse are 5 times more likely to be killed if their abuser owns a gun. And despite the way the issue may play out on the news, the mentally ill are far more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators of violence. According to studies, 4 times more likely. My union, CIR, represents physicians from all specialties, from the emergency medicine doctors who regularly report to work expecting to treat gunshot wounds, to the surgeons, anesthesiologists, and radiologists who will be called to repair physical damage caused by gun violence, to the psychiatrists who will attempt to heal psychological damage of victims and their loved ones, as well as the mentally ill and the marginalized, to the primary care physicians like me, who know that the most important solution to public health crisis is adequate prevention. The disease is in front of us, and it will take courage and dedication of all to take action, to treat it, and to save our patients. Large majorities of physicians and Americans believe we should reauthorize the lapsed bans on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. New York took action on this, and it's time for America to do the same. Large majorities of physicians and Americans believe we should have far more aggressive enforcement of current laws against illegal possession and sale of firearms. New York took action on this, and it's time for America to do the same. Large majorities of physicians and Americans believe our current system of background checks contains too many loopholes and still offers inadequate protection from guns falling into the wrong hands. New York took action, and it's time for America to do the same. Large majorities of physicians and Americans believe we can do more to reduce all violence, educate the public on gun safety and prevention, and support both victims of violence and those most vulnerable to violence. New York took action, and guess what? It's time for America to do the same. We can confront this public issue. We've done it before. We took on big tobacco and cut cigarette smoking in this country in half. We used all the tools of regulation, education, culture change, and safety standards to reduce motor vehicle deaths, particularly of children. We took common sense steps to reduce childhood deaths from accidental poisonings over 75%. We can and we will do the same for gun violence. And together we can do it. Thank you.
Not everybody is used to speaking to a crowd in the middle of hall, but we're going to welcome each person here like they're a keynote speaker. And we want to thank our elected official, because if you're an elected official and it's campaign season, then you want to talk. But guess what? Tonight the rules are we want you to listen to us, because we've got something to say. And they have been on, the people who have been here have been on the battlefield with us, but we want them to go back downtown and tell them what they saw and what they heard uptown tonight. And they heard us say, find your, or we can do better than that. Find your, thank you. Our next speaker is a mother who got involved, who got off the sidelines. She's originally from Atlanta, GA. She came to New York about 11, 12 years ago, and she worked as a designer. She's a survivor of gun violence, and she's the mother of 2 young children. And she was galvanized into action when she saw what happened at Sandy Hook. And so we want to talk to a person who was on the sidelines and got on the battlefield. Have a New York welcome for Kim Russell.
Hey. So are there any moms out there? All right, moms and everybody else. We got some hard work to do. So good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Kim Russell. I'm one of the founding members of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. I am a Brooklyn small business owner. I am a wife, and I am the very proud mom of 2 beautiful children. And I stand before you now